Two of the best players in the country and in the Big East go at it tonight. The nation's leading scorer, Eric Dixon for Villanova, and one of the most beloved players for the Golden Eagles, Cam Jones. It's the Wildcats and the Golden Eagles coming up next. Welcome to Milwaukee. There has been no high major conference in America this year with more nail-biting games. Marquette, Villanova know all about that as Marquette tries to match St. John's at the top of the Big East standings. Villanova coming off 5 straight games that have come down to the wire. They need this game bad for their NCAA tournament hopes. Glad you're with us. Stephen Bardo, Connor Onion. We had smiles all over our faces when we walked into the building tonight. You called this game a what?
A Big East slobber knocker. You know, you're talking about a Villanova team trying to stay in the upper echelon of the conference, whereas Marquette's trying to keep pace with St. John's. We got Friday night hoops, baby. Can't get any better than this.
Slobber knocker's a great way to start the show tonight. Let's look at our starting lineups. They're brought to you by Jeep. There's only one, and it's a look for Villanova that's a little bit different. You had Wooga Poplar ejected from the game the other night against Georgetown, so Tyler Perkins gets the start at the 2-guard, while Marquette never changes their starting lineup. The same group that they've gone with every game this season, led by Cam Jones. It's about those two guys tonight, Eric Dixon and Cam Jones.
This is one of the things I'm really excited to watch. Two of the more creative scorers in all of college basketball. You look at Eric Dixon, a small ball 5, but he's got the most made threes in the Big East this season. And then Cam Jones on the other side, pressed into action at the point guard position with the graduation of Tyler Kolek. And he's done a fantastic job of looking for his shot and also setting up his teammates.
You notice, Stephen, the retro jerseys for Marquette takes you back to the Jimmy Butler era at Marquette.
Those are sweet. I love when these programs do this, Connor, you know, to incorporate the history and the rich tradition of these programs. I love it.
Part of the Gold Out tonight, a sold-out crowd at Pfizer Forum. Big East basketball on a Friday night. Off we go. The Wildcats and the Golden Eagles with Marquette in those retro golds controlling the tap.
It's going to be important to see if Marquette can force turnovers early against this deliberate Villanova squad.
Cam Jones gets the first look up and can't hit it. So Villanova, one of the most efficient offenses in the country, with their first trip down this way. And Perkins gets the first one up, cannot hit it on a night where he is trying to find the shot that he had early in Big East play. He's now missed 26 threes in a row.
Yeah, and I'm surprised the young man got the confidence to raise up and continue to take him, because that one was halfway down.
Well, Cam Jones is scoring wingman David Joplin on the board and allows everybody to sit down for the first time at Pfizer Forum.
Well, David Joplin is always important to this attack, but especially tonight because he's matched up against Eric Dixon. Let's see what he tries to take away from what Eric's doing.
There's a strength advantage for Dixon, who has 40 pounds on Joplin in that matchup. Longino can't hit anything on that shot, but Buachi secures a second chance for Villanova. Obviously didn't hit rim, so no shot clock reset, down to 5. Longino on the take, ducks in and scores for the first time.
That's elite footwork that you usually see from Villanova players, playing well off 2 feet, using the pivot foot to get away from the D.
Players change, that doesn't.
That's right. Playing off 2 feet, those fundamentals always in this program.
Great sign for Marquette, carryover from the other night. Cam Jones from outside.
Yeah, you know, he struggled against Xavier, and they ended up dropping that one at the end, but you've got to have your main man going early and often, especially against this Villanova team that's played so well in the last 5 games.
Well, star for star, outside hit for outside hit. There's Dixon.
Yeah, Eric Dixon's going to have to carry the load here tonight. Neon green light.
3 for Mitchell, off back rim. Longino taps it to Perkins.
So Villanova has one of the more deliberate paces, but they will do this if it's an open look.
Well, second chance at it. Brickus from a different spot, and this time it's pure.
Brickus can score it now. When he's at LaSalle, he's to give people the business. So he's setting up his teammates nicely here, but he can go off on his own as well.
In some places, that's a personal foul, giving people the business. But Brickus did. He was a 40% shooter at LaSalle, and it's been close to 50% this year for Villanova. There's Jones on the scoop. Man. That's gorgeous.
You can't stop that. I mean, Longino did a really good job of cutting off his initial thrust. But when you got the green light like that and a sweet left off glass.
There's Brickus on the take. Stevie Mitchell in his pocket. Great matchup here. Two leading scorers, Dixon and Jones, matched up. Here we go again with 10 on the shot clock. Dixon can't break free, so off to Perkins. Dixon, shot fake, sets the feet. Can't hit his second three.
Good second effort in terms of flying at Dixon, not giving him that initial clean look.
Well, Dixon got his first from out deep to go. This is a three from Mitchell that slides off. And Boachi was up at Mitchell with hands on it. Deflection and a steal into a three.
Oh, boy, Stevie Mitchell. He embodies this Marquette program in terms of coming in as a defensive stopper, but he's expanded his offensive game every season he's been here. Excellent job by Mitchell, shooting 40% from three on the season.
Well, always a good defender, always a good teammate, but turning it up in that way. Guy that Marquette has been able to lean on for scoring this year.
Oh, good hard hedge by Ben Gold.
Dixon contested three. Not here. Rebound for Jones.
I thought Joplin was going to try to back down Perkins there. Teammates came into his direction.
Step back, Jones. Oh, halfway down. Couldn't get it to stick, though.
No, but you can see the look in his eye right now. I mean, he's going to be aggressive every time he touches.
A different look than he had a week ago. Perkins can't get that to go. An 0 for 2 start for Perkins from out deep. Getting the start for Poplar.
I was going to say, watch Ben Gold on this drag action. They didn't look for him.
Ross three. No, second chance. Mitchell runs it down. Unrelenting hustle from Mitchell. That's off. Gold saves it. Dixon denies us our first dead ball tonight.
I tell you what, though, we've seen some errant shots. I mean, that barely grazed the rim. Marquette getting them up early and often.
2 of 7 start from three for Marquette. 2 of 7 start from three for Villanova. So Dixon tries it downstairs on goal. Searching and out of bounds off the Wildcats. Well, that's fun. About 5.5 minutes of free-flowing play.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of shots up. Not many are falling, but you know we got a slobber knocker on our hands. Stevie Mitchell.
I have a feeling that's not the last time we hear slobber knocker tonight, Stephen. All right, great game on a Friday night at the Big East. 10-8 start, Marquette. Welcome back to Milwaukee. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Stephen Bardo, Connor Onion, our entire crew with you. Got our first step ball 5.5 minutes in. Marquette and Villanova letting it fly in a night where Marquette is trying to match St. John's at 8-1 in the conference standings. Villanova at 5-4, but more importantly, they need this game so badly as a quad 1 win on their NCAA tournament resume. And this is not a matchup they've had much success in, Stephen. They're 0-7 in their last 3 years against Marquette.
There's always a program or a team as a conference foe that just has your number. And you can find it in almost every power conference around the country, but this is quite impressive. 7-0 in the last 7 games. And, you know, for Villanova not having success against this Marquette team. But, you know, these records are meant to fall at some point, and I'm sure Kyle Neptune trying to get that across to his players here. A wonderful opportunity for them to pick up a much-needed victory on the road.
And they played 3 times last year, including in the Big East quarterfinals. That game went to overtime, and that was the bubble burster for Villanova. If they won that game, they probably would have gotten in. Game that Marquette played without Tyler Kolek in the Big East quarters last year. Wooga Poplar into the game for the first time for Villanova. He did not start, but not a suspension, just coming off the bench tonight after he was ejected. That was the disciplinary action that Kyle Neptune took after he was ejected after just 8 minutes in the Georgetown loss.
I like that use there by man-to-man full court pressure by Villanova, because Marquette's almost had 10 seconds left in the shot clock.
Parham for three, fresh off the bench and into the book.
And Parham is quite comfortable shooting that face-up three, especially when that ball touches the paint and comes back out. That's like a practice jumper for him.
And Stephen, a priority for Marquette to get more bench scoring. And they get immediate impact from Parham tonight. And that's knocked out. It was Trey Norman fighting for it with Dixon. And that's got to please Shaka Smart. So that's the other side of it. Since he took the job, he's 7-0 as the Marquette head coach against Villanova.
Yeah, this Marquette program, I mean, they've been outstanding since 2022. I believe they've got the best record in the Big East.
And hardly ever lose at home.
Yeah. I mean, that Villanova and UConn are in the Big East as well, so that's telling you something.
Well, Parham feeling good. Poplar with his first play of the night.
Yeah, I think Woozer Poplar is going to get activated here early. He understands the opportunity on the road. He's one of the guys that can go get his own shot for Villanova.
He helps out Dixon. So is Longino lately. Through the back door, Josiah Mosley. Not a guy they count on for a lot of scoring.
Yeah, that's good playmaking by Longino, though, getting into the paint with a nice pocket pass.
Backdoor Joplin. Mosley right with him. Defends him. And saved by Longino.
So Villanova getting the game more to their pace. You see they're not rushing it up. Fine to be deliberate here and get it to their man.
Well, that's way out there for Dixon, over the top and down to Jones.
Tell you what, Eric Dixon has to ice his arm down after the games, boy. Gets a lot of use.
Fall away, Joplin, friendly roll.
David Joplin, like Stevie Mitchell, have been in this program for years, and you can tell the maturation, the development of their offensive skill set, and the way that they accept their roles under Shaka Smart makes this one of the better programs in the country.
Joplin is turned down to more of a force down on this end, too. He's protecting the rim as Poplar handles with 10 on the shot clock. And turned over. Jones jumps it. Who was it off of? Pat Driscoll says it's off Cam Jones. Staying with Villanova.
Well, some young fan. Some young fan got a handful there on the sideline.
Cam Jones coming right into your living room or right into your lap if you're one of the courtside fans at Pfizer. Arctic blast throughout the Midwest and throughout the country this week. Welcome back inside our own little basketball igloo. Marquette leads it by 5 at the under-12. Sunday on Fox, historic rivals collide with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. Rookie sensation Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders against Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles. Pre-game coverage starts at 1 Eastern with kickoff at 3, only on Fox. Villanova fans rooting interest in that game, obviously, with Philly involved. We talked about it, Stephen, how important this game is. UConn and Cincinnati, the key wins right now, but those are quad 2 wins. As the net continues to change, this would be a quad win tonight, their first.
Yeah, and they desperately need this. And, you know, you want to keep pace in the Big East Conference, but you also keep an eye on these metrics. And, you know, right now, they look okay. The strength of schedule is okay. The net ranking is good. But like you said, you've got to have those quad 1 victories. And the good thing about being in the Big East is that you're going to have those opportunities.
And some of the odds makers are saying that a lot of it hinges on tonight on as far as Villanova's chances to make the tournament. If they don't win it, a 4% chance that they would make the NCAA tournament. It's airballed by Poplar.
Yeah, Poplar's he's kind of pressing it a little bit there, and he's asking the official that he got fouled.
Villanova has been icy from the floor, one of their last 7. And trailing by 5. And drive and kick. Mitchell gives it up for Norman. And Parham hit that 3 right off the bench. He gives it up with 6 on the clock. Mitchell on the drive and the scoop.
Mitchell did a great job of noticing he had an angle, got his shoulder into Longino so that he couldn't keep him from the rim. Nice play by Stevie Mitchell.
He's helped spur this 12-2 run, Stephen, over the last 6 minutes. Longino, deep 2, got that.
Well, that's a tough shot. Steve Mitchell all up in his jersey. Doesn't matter. Nice job stemming the tide there by Longino.
And that's a look at two players that have come so far on offense. Mitchell and Longino, known as defenders. Parham almost got his second of the night.
Parham is a nice stretch big and shooting that ball with a lot of confidence. This is going to be a tough matchup for Ben Gold.
And Dixon ducks in on him short. Dixon yet to get going. The #1 scorer in the country hit the early threes. 0 for from the floor since then.
Watch this two-man action. Watch Ben Gold on the backside here.
Trey Norman, catch and shoot. Not here with Perkins crashing.
So we talk about Eric Dixon obviously carrying the load, nation's leading scorer. But Poplar's got to get involved as well. You got to take a little bit of pressure off Eric.
And Dixon draws the foul with Gold right in his pocket. And that's on Mitchell helping out Dixon on that drive.
It's a critical juncture now because Marquette, they can gap you really quickly if you're not careful. So Villanova is really important these next couple of possessions. Get some high-quality looks. Even if it's not Eric Dixon, you still want something going to the rim with some high-quality looks.
When baseline out of bounds is where they look to get him one-on-one matchups a lot.
Yeah, now I can see the formation. Poplar will kind of get away, and they'll set him up in the post.
It ends up being Poplar going to work, slides it down for Mosley, who airmails it.
Mosley, that looked like he was off balance when he went up and never really found the range.
Well, nice pass out to Gold for a 3.
That's part of Cam Jones's pregame workout. A series of passes, hook passes, cross-court passes, and he hits his teammates in the shooting pocket. Well done.
6.5 assists a game for Jones with some style points, too. Dixon off the shot fake, leans in, and he has missed his last 5 from the floor. The second chance for Villanova. Poplar pulls up. Jones got it clean. Marquette looks to run. Jones stops, fires, can't connect.
Wow, that place was ready to come down if Jones gets that 3 to drop. Villanova very fortunate that time. I thought Jones was going to challenge Poplar at the rim.
Well, Poplar is fouled. Raked across the arm by Owens, his first. Talk about the pregame routine for Cam Jones. Showing up in a game one more time.
I'll tell you what, this is as good as it gets. Ben Gold just catches and goes right into his motion. And that seems like a subtle thing, ladies and gentlemen, but it's it's key in a power conference like this to be able to get the ball in your shooting pocket because you don't have a lot of time to get your shot off. So Cam Jones just really expanding his passing game.
Longino stop and start, forced to give it up. Into the hands of his point guard, Brickus, who has the center Gold on him. Can't do anything with it. Longino on the attack. Took the contact, stayed with it, and Gold wins that battle.
Well, it's got a lid on that rim, and Cam Jones comes up gimpy. Got to keep an eye on him.
And Jones still flexing that left foot as he stomped into the half court. And it's down on the ground. First foul of the night against Villanova comes on the Joplin drive.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened to Cam, but boy, he came up grimacing and trying to work it out. It looks like he's going to be okay, but hey, lower foot or ankle or something like that.
It was like he was stomping, trying to wake it up.
Yeah, something. And, you know, you still see he's like moving a little gingerly. Maybe trying to, probably happy that he's getting extra time. Somebody's bleeding.
We're looking at Zane Lowry.
Let's go back and take a look at this rebound. #1 right there in front of you. So he just lands awkwardly on that left foot. Looks like he's okay now. good news for Marquette fans. And you see the blood on Lowry's left arm there. Good job by our camera crew picking that up.
I don't know if is that his blood or is that somebody else's?
Well, that's what the officials are trying to figure out, because they're looking at everyone and no one's bleeding. Or maybe it's Dixon, because they're trying to scrub out maybe some blood on his sweats or his tights there. So they'll get it eventually.
I know I haven't. I don't know if you have. Called a Big East game this year where we didn't have a foul called in the first 10 minutes.
I haven't.
I mean, unless it's a game involving Creighton, who never
That's
fouls.
true. Good points.
But even then, we went 10 minutes without one tonight. Here's Jones down the baseline, and he steps out of bounds.
Tyler Perkins, good job being physical on Cam Jones's drive. Rode him right out of bounds. Look at Perkins. Just forcing him baseline, not letting him turn the corner. Good job, individual defense by Perkins.
At this end of the floor, Villanova's gone 3 minutes without scoring, and Marquette's stingy defense comes up with another stop. Gold in transition. Fight for the rebounds. Out to Villanova.
Boy, great job.
Well, Marquette is known for going on runs, getting stop after stop. That's how they built this 8-point lead in the first half. Marquette has held Villanova scoreless the last 3 minutes, 9 seconds, leading by 8. Let's go inside their huddle.
Continue to step up, put your chest on the play, outside the move, okay? Then we got to grab the ball. That thing's loose, we got to grab it.
But Shaka Smart reminding his players of the fundamentals that can get them clean stops and clean off the defensive glass. So, you know, I know viewers might be surprised by how fundamental talk that was, but you have to remind college players on a regular basis throughout a hotly contested game like this to remember the fundamentals, to get on the glass, to play physical, to play chest up and go after it with two hands. I know that sounds like, oh man, is he coaching grade schoolers? No, these are college players, and they need to be reminded.
Especially when you're facing the country's leading scorer, which they've done a really good job on Dixon, 1 of 6.
They have. He's 1 of 6, and 4 of those are from 3, and so he's not been able to mix up his game a lot because they're fronting him in the post. It's going to be important for Villanova to try to find him in different positions on the floor.
So Villanova with a 5 of 20 start from the floor. One of the Big East's most efficient offenses this year against one of the country's best defenses on this end.
I like this set, though, by Villanova, having Longino in the post first.
Touching a lot of different hands, and it leads to an open shot for Longino.
Good recognition, Connor, on your part. That was the best ball move we've seen from Villanova here in the first half.
So that breaks their 3-minute scoring drought, and Lowry hits them right back with a 3.
Well, Lowry got that jersey cleaned off, and now he's feeling fresh. Looking good from three-point land.
I think his left shoulder's still wet from the spray that they...
Yeah, but you know what? When that orange pill hits your hands, you forget all of that.
It's an offensive foul. Dr. Bardo with the diagnosis.
There you go. And look at the ball movement. Side to side, defense is late, trying to react, and good job by Longino. And then Lowry comes right back. That's why it's so important to get paint touches. That's where the best three-point shots come from. It's when you get dribble penetration. Cam Jones, yet another assist.
And that's twice now. Paint touch has led to bench points from Marquette. Lowry follows up Parham's 3 from earlier. Big emphasis for Shaka Smart as the year goes on. Get more from those guys, the young guys coming off the bench.
Brick has got away with a grab there.
Jones, shoulder fake. No, Dixon comes in.
Boy, man, when that ball goes on the rim, you better strap it up. Because, I mean, it's a free-for-all underneath that bucket. Good, clean, yet physical basketball like we expected.
And then the rebounding's been dead even opening 14 minutes.
Ooh.
Dixon physical drive. Ross fell down. Out for a Brickus three. He drills it.
Jameer Brickus reminds me so much of John Bagley. Old school point guard, played at Boston College, and in college obviously, and had a really long pro career.
Ross in on Dixon, taking the contact.
Chase Ross, I love that move. Foot speed advantage, wasted no time, straight line drive. Yeah, but look at Brickus. He's shifty, he's low to the ground. Got that old school East Coast point guard, traditional point guard look.
He's so fast with the ball in his hands, creating for this Villanova offense. And Dixon is called for the offensive foul. Stevie Mitchell took it on the chest.
And see, sometimes, because Stevie Mitchell's got a defensive reputation, sometimes he gets the benefit of the doubt. Let's see if he got there. Oh, that's clear. Yeah, no, that's great help defensive position by one of the best defenders in college basketball, Stevie Mitchell, doing an excellent job helping Ben Gold contain the nation's leading scorer.
And with a 1 of 6 start from the floor, Dixon sits with 2 fouls.
Marquette doing a great job of frustrating Dixon, not giving him the looks that he wants, having him see multiple players whenever he touches.
And clean from Poplar. Ross gets it right back. And Gold down the baseline. Struggle all the way and off of Marquette. Back to Villanova.
You don't see Ben Gold put it on the deck too much and try to make plays like that, but I like that in that situation. He had an advantage along the baseline. He couldn't get to drop, but you want to keep guys honest. And him putting it on the deck will keep his opponents honest.
Yeah, Stephen, 80% of his shots come from 3.
Yep.
So without their top offensive player, Dixon with 2 fouls. Villanova trying to get it going, down 8. Brickus can't shake Mitchell. Into the paint, out for Poplar. Lets it fly. And a second chance with Longino.
Well, excellent job. Offensive rebound by Josiah Mosley.
Longino gets free and knocks down a 3.
Yeah, Longino's going to have a big game. He's one of the Wildcats that are feeling it right now here in the first half. They need to ride through him until Eric Dixon can get back in the game and get going.
Well, Longino and Brickus a combined 15 points, with Dixon struggling and now in foul trouble. So Marquette lead down to 5. Ahead of the under 4 timeout.
Oh, look at that.
And the scoop for Jones.
Oh, man. One of the craftiest scorers in all of college basketball. Obviously has an advantage because he's a lefty. Kind of freezes the defense initially and making it happen.
Well, after the Jones bucket, when Brickus and Villanova try to answer out of the under 4 timeout. And Poplar with Ross behind him called for the reach in. Sweet feet, Cam Jones puts Marquette back up 7.
Footwork is as good as you're going to see in college basketball. Now you see me, now you don't. All glass, Memphis's finest.
Rob Stone in studio. Coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report, LaFonso Ellis joins me as we break down that strong start for number 10 Marquette. And are the 2-time defending national champs in trouble? We preview UConn's trip to Xavier tomorrow. That's coming up at the half. Connor Stephen, we'll see you then.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. That is a huge game tomorrow night on Fox. As we got the only show in town in the Big East tonight. Number 10 Marquette leading by 7, and they've held down Eric Dixon to 1 of 6 from the floor.
Hey, they've done a great job of changing the look that he's getting. So David Joplin starts out on him, and Ross has a chance to guard him. Ben Gold has been guarding him a little bit. So you're just trying to keep him off balance, trying to take away some of his first looks. And I think Marquette's done a really good job of that. Has sped him up. When he has been open, he's rushed his opportunities. And so that's what you hope for when you're trying to contain a guy as talented as Eric Dixon.
You sitting him the rest of the half? You're counting up to him?
I think you have to. You can't afford to pick up the 3rd foul here in the first half because it really hampers your ability to close this deficit.
All right, so where does it come from? The offense for Villanova.
It's got to come from Longino, and then Poplar has really struggled. Wooga's been forcing the issue, And Chase Ross has been extremely physical with him. He's got to figure out how to get some easy ones, maybe off the offensive glass, because Luga is a really good rebounder from the guard position. I believe it's more than 6 a game.
Well, Poplar was on a great run over 7 or 8 games before he got ejected and played just 8 minutes in the loss against Georgetown. Has not scored yet tonight. He is the second leading scorer for Villanova on the season. And that stripped. Ross and Mitchell combined to start the break for Marquette. And Ross finishes it off.
For great creativity right at the rim by Ross. But the Villanova players, they've got to scream at Brickus. I believe that was Longino's man. He's got to scream to let him know that there's an extra defender coming. I know a lot of these guys, you know, they'll be right next to each other and text instead of talk, but you got to talk on the court.
No texting or paging on the court.
No, not on the court.
There's Perkins, cut off, end of the shot clock. And it was out of bounds, but it was a shot clock violation. 30 seconds, no shot. Marquette locks it down.
Look at the defense. The double team forces the turnover, and they're off to the races. Ross get to the rim with a beautiful finish. And then excellent timing on the double team to force the turnover.
Well, that was interesting. Right before we showed the replay, we showed you Dixon getting ready to go to the table, but then Kyle Neptune called him back.
I think one of his assistants may have reminded him that he's got 2 fouls, and it's a critical juncture. He may want to let him stay there rather.
Well, there's the rebounding with Poplar you're talking about.
And Poplar can do that on the offensive glass as well, Connor. That's the easiest way to get a bucket when you're struggling. Get on the offensive glass.
Well, they don't have Buachi or Dixon out there. Villanova, they're 2 biggest rotation players. And 10 on the shot clock as Longino takes a peek. Longino has Ross on him, and Ross fouls him. 2 quick fouls on Chase Ross. One of the best defenders in the Big East now in some foul trouble.
Well, he had the right idea, you know, to challenge the jump shot, but obviously you don't want to make contact. Ooh.
You got him clean, yeah?
I didn't see it.
Got him on the wrist, I mean.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. I know I'm a little bit older, but the ball is part of the wrist.
True, fair point.
You know, so but Longino, you gotta convert here. You're on the road trying to cut to this deficit. Your leading scorer is on the bench. You got to manufacture the points when they're possible.
Longino has turned it up. 14 points per game his last 6. He has 10 in the first half tonight. Oh, nice cross again for Mitchell. It hangs around and down.
I'll tell you what, Stevie Mitchell has done that twice today. To where he starts, he rises just a little bit, Connor, to freeze the defender, then he hits the jets, gets all the way to the rim once again.
What's that tell you as a defender when he rises up?
You kind of relax a little bit, and you don't expect him to be as fast on the restart. Watch Stevie Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. He'll rise up his torso just enough to get the defense off balance. It was right before that. Mosley kind of relaxed. It's too late.
Okay, Dixon this time he actually came on the floor this time, and then he went out.
That was. I think the officials are trying to get it right, but that is strange, right?
Because he ran to the table before, they called him back. This time he actually checked into the game, and now he's sitting on the bench again.
Well, Pat Driscoll, in my opinion, maybe the best referee in college basketball, was trying to get his attention. Just to ask him about that, but we'll ask him about that at halftime.
The country's leading scorer, Eric Dixon, 25 points per game with 2 fouls, sitting on the bench with just 3 points. In this first half, as Villanova is down by 10. Marquette's been great again on defense, forcing 8 turnovers against the Villanova team that doesn't usually give it to you much. Into the post, it goes on the bank for Parham.
Parham has been really good off the bench utilizing that size advantage in the post, fights through the contact. These are big points as Marquette extends to a double-digit lead.
Can they get Poplar going? Jones tried to take the charge. They play on. Longino launches another three.
Boy, Poplar with some great vision. He got double teamed there. He looked like he got kneed in the thigh. He's grimacing a little bit, but that pass is spot on.
Where would Villanova be without Longino right now?
Yeah, you're right.
Lowry, same spot as before. And Poplar has the board.
So can Wooga get going? Because Longino needs some help.
Timeout, the use it or lose it for Villanova before halftime with a 2-second differential game and shot clock.
You see Eric Dixon trying to pump up his teammates. Watch Poplar. He gets the double team. Great look to Longino for a much needed three. And so it's not looking pretty right now, but Villanova staying close, manufacturing points until buying themselves some time until they can get to the halftime break.
This feels like a huge trip for Villanova.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. You see the intensity on Kyle Neptune's face. Because the thing is, if Villanova can come down here and score and get within 7 points or 6 by the halftime break, do you know how good that would be with the nation's leading scorer struggling the way that he is? And they're within striking distance of Marquette here in the first half.
Well, Villanova is close to their season low and a half. 26 in the first half against Virginia. And that loss in non-conference. And they're sitting on 24 right now as Dixon comes back in.
It's going to be interesting how aggressive Eric Dixon will be in this scenario. They try to get him on the box, or will they bring him out on the perimeter?
He starts downstairs. And as Brickus controls. The shot clock is still on, 2-second difference. And Dixon still stationary. Now they get to work with Brickus. He's doubled into the post for Dixon. Backdoor Perkins. They get an easy one.
Great execution that time by Villanova.
And it leaves some time for Marquette to go get one. 3 on the clock. Jones crossover. Shovels it. 3. Parham at the horn. He connects.
Great setup from Cam Jones. You think that their leading scorer, Marquette's leading scorer, is going to make something happen. And setting up Royce Parham, beautiful.
A 10-point lead for number 10 Marquette into the locker room.
Well, you see Cam Jones, the fake, the flip. Royce Parham has been stellar off the bench here in the first half of Marquette. No doubt about it. He gets the puppy set. Hold that follow through, young fella. I see you.
And he's matched his best Big East game in the first half alone with 8 points on a couple of threes. And the 10th-ranked Golden Eagles shocking their own fans with some of that outside shooting from the bench.
We welcome you to the Jeep Halftime Report, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. And after some struggles from deep recently, Cam Jones broke out of the slump, 4-6 from 3 in Tuesday's win at Seton Hall. Tonight, just 1 of 4 from deep, but his Marquette side up 10 at the break. Glad you're with us tonight. Rob Stone, LaFonso Ellis. Game 1 of 3 tonight here on FS1. So number 10 Marquette suffered their first home loss last Saturday. The plan, it seems, to avoid back-to-back losses in Milwaukee starts with attacking the paint as we take in our halftime highlights, sponsored by Jeep.
Rob, what they've been able to do early is they're identifying where the mismatch is, whether it's in transition or in half court. They've found a cross match there with Dixon able to drive him and get him to the rack. And now they have Boakye, and they're driving him. And what that does is now all of a sudden you have to come and help on that dribble penetration, and now they're spraying out for threes. 6 made threes in the first half for Villanova. That's half of their points. And so for them to get back in this game, they've got to keep the basketball in front and make Marquette shoot over the top.
They also need Eric Dixon to show up, the nation's leading scorer at 25 a game. 1 of 6 from the floor, 3 points, 3 turnovers. By the way, Marquette a 10-0 advantage in points off turnovers, and they have a 10-point lead. A little bit later, we pivot to the stacked Big Ten. A lot of tens tonight after a strong start. Iowa, where they find themselves in need of a win as they host Penn State. Then it's a little Pac-12 after dark vibes as the UCLA roller coaster of a season finds itself in Seattle. And when we turn our attention back to the Big East. Is UConn no longer the team to fear, or are they just playing possum? What a game tonight from the women's ranks. Unbeaten, 5th-ranked LSU at number 2 South Carolina. Sanaya Fagan, the steal, gives it up to Raven Johnson. That would be a bit of a theme. Yep. Back-to-back turnovers. That's been an issue.
Yeah, LSU has struggled turning the basketball over all year long. 17 turnovers this game, surrendered 22 points to South Carolina.
69th straight home win for the Gamecocks. LSU is unbeaten no more. Tomorrow over on Fox, it's a twin bill of UConn hoops. The 6th-ranked and 11-time champion women's team meets Creighton 5:30 Eastern. That one followed by the 19th-ranked men, who have dropped 2 of their last 4, meeting Xavier. That one in prime time. UConn on the men's side, the unanimous pick to win the Big East. They currently sit in a tie for 3rd place. You like UConn tomorrow on the road, but there are 1 or 2 little spots that might give you some pause.
And one in particular, when it comes to this game, UConn's really struggled defending the three-point line. In fact, in their 5 losses, they've given up 46% from the three-point line on 9 makes a game. In their last 5 wins, only surrendering 32% on 5 makes. Why is that significant? Xavier's a team that doesn't shoot a ton of threes, but they're efficient. 38% from the three-point line. That's 23rd in the country, and they make 8 threes per game. If UConn wants to go on the road and win this game, they got to take away the three-point shot. As you see here, second worst, folks, in major conference teams, giving up 37% from 3. That won't get it done against the Musketeers.
Not at all. Both these teams, interestingly enough, coming off overtime games. UConn at home getting a win over Butler. Xavier at the Garden had the top team in the Big East, had St. John's. Couldn't close the deal in overtime. They fall. So, again, it's UConn Xavier tomorrow over on Fox. Tonight here on FS1, Royce Parham with the triple. The Golden Eagles, 6 of 17 from deep. They're up 10. Second half from Milwaukee next.
Well, 5th sellout of the year for Marquette, and their fans have seen a good show from the Golden Eagles in the first half, leading by 10, forcing a Villanova team that doesn't turn the ball over a lot into 8 of them, and 10 points off of those is the difference in the game, 36-26 as we get to the break. Stephen Bardo, Connor Onion, back with you, and glad you're spending your Friday nights with us. Chase Ross had a great line about this Marquette defense. We are a vicious, grimy defense. They showed that in a lot of ways in that first half.
Oh, yeah, they were very disruptive. You take the nation's leading scorer, and then you take the second leading scorer from Villanova, Poplar. Between Dixon and Poplar, they're 1 of 9 from the field for 2 points. You can't get any better defensively than that. So Marquette, everything comes around their defense. Like you just mentioned it, 10 points off of those turnovers. That's the difference in the game. So the defense has been outstanding, but I expect Eric Dixon to come out strong and be very aggressive.
By the Numbers, sponsored by AT&T Business. Next level moments need next level network. So Dixon with the foul trouble, just the 3 points, and well under that average right now.
Yeah, and they're going to have to move him around the floor. Maybe they get some easy looks, get on the offensive glass, just try to get him going and get his confidence up.
And Villanova starts with the ball after a half where they have just 10 field goals against one of the top defenses in the country. And Dixon back out there after the foul trouble late in the first half. And it is Perkins that starts the second half like he did in the first half. And Poplar sitting on the bench. Here's Perkins from the mid-range. They're hoping that's the one that gets him going.
Well, Perkins had a good first half, and especially on the defensive end. So any bench points that Villanova's getting is good for them.
Jones bangs in, and a foul called on Longino.
You see Cam Jones he utilizes the spin move as well as anybody in college basketball. Goes hard one direction, gets you leaning, and then spins and keeps you off balance. He's just such a difficult guy to defend.
Well, any coach in the league you talk to harps on it all shoot around. Cam Jones is going to spin. He's going to drive right, spin to his left, get to the strong hand. A lot of times you still can't stop it.
No, you can't. And, you know, those coaches are funny. I used to ask Lou Henson, or I wanted to ask him, you want to come out here and guard him? Like, I know what Cam Jones is trying to do, but he still can get there, right? These guys are talented.
You tell me you talked back to your coach? No.
Man, any player that's worth his salt is going to talk back once or twice. Right. Not too much, but a little bit.
Well, Longino with 13 points leading Villanova. He was tagged for that second foul as Jones hit from the free throw line. Longino falling away, not here. Mitchell has the rebound.
Yeah, Longino had Tyler Perkins wide open and chose to keep it himself.
On the cross. Oh, great find. Mitchell fills the lane.
Cam Jones, once again, the timing of his passes, just excellent.
Well, Jones at 6.5 assists a night. Another beauty, up to 5 assists in this game as Dixon seals it off and Longino feeds him 2.
That's the first time that Dixon's been able to ride David Joplin up the lane. Joplin is fronting the post, so you got to ride him up the lane to get. Oh, look at that.
Oh, my goodness. Tremendous speed, tight-roping the sideline.
Tightrope is exactly right. Cam Jones, he's got a fourth or fifth gear that he can get to. Kind of surprised the defense that time.
And Shaka Smart had a look on his face like, oh, baby, that was vintage Cam Jones with the ball in his hands.
Yep.
And stretches the lead back to double digits for Marquette, up 11. And Jones falls down. Perkins from 3. Slides off. Joplin fighting for it. And a jump ball called. It will be Marquette ball.
Good hustle on both players. Watch this as you so eloquently described. The tightrope. He looked like he was almost off balance and then has the presence of mind to get it off glass. Look at this hustle. This is typical Big East basketball.
Joplin and Buachi coming together on a night where Marquette has had a big paint advantage. 22-8 in the paint is Poplar in there on Jones, who comes up limping again.
Poplar got his foot in front of Cam Jones.
Corner 3 not here for Brickus, and Ross is out of the pack.
Look at Ross push.
Looking for help, found Gold for a 3.
That was a good look from Gold, and that's a good push by Ross because that gravity pulls the defense into the paint area, allow Gold an open look.
And then Dixon with a little push too. Tags the first foul on Ben Gold.
Well, Dixon's gotten free a couple times. He's gotten a little bit more space. Been a number of situations where he's put it on the deck and he's gotten multiple Golden Eagles in his face. That time he had a whole side to himself. Villanova gonna have to work some of that into what they're trying to do to get him going.
You'll see him go back to that high look again at some point.
Maybe, but Marquette does such a great job of first denial on the pass that it makes it difficult for him to get it there.
And Dixon couldn't get one up on the catch off the baseline out of bounds. It's Longino. Drive and kick. 3, Brickus rattles down.
Well, Jameer Brickus didn't have much space. Stevie Mitchell was right there. Nice conversion for Villanova. Hanging around within 8 points. They're within striking distance.
And without getting Dixon going and without shooting well from 3 like they usually do, 40% three-point shooting team. Here's Joplin. Can't dial it up. Poplar skying over the top. And then he finds it for the rebound.
It was fun talking to Ruga before the game. He was quite a pitcher and shortstop. He said his best pitch was a curveball. You imagine 6'5" coming off the mound with a nasty curve.
It's Ross for 3. No. And Perkins at the rebound. To answer your question, no, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, he can put some velocity on that thing. He said, yeah, baseball was my best sport. I'm sure Villanova's happy he changed his mind.
And a foul called. The former 6'5" pitcher headed to the free throw line.
Determined to get to the rim. Boy, he fought through a lot of contact there. I believe that was Ross. And he just powered through. Oh, no, that's David Joplin. I mean, he was bound and determined to get to that rim.
So you remember Matt Caesar, who played football at Villanova.
Okay.
He's on a team that went to the national championship game and then played the major leagues. Baseball player for a long time. Poplar, post basketball. Next, Matt Caesar out of Villanova.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think Poplar may have a look. He might get a chance at the next level. Not overseas, I'm talking about the NBA. Because he's an NBA athlete for sure.
And he cuts it to 6. Marquette has gone scoreless the last 2 minutes.
Ooh, Longino almost came up with that steal.
Parham's had a big night. Can't get the roll, but he got his own. Through a crowd of 3 bodies, he puts it away.
I'll tell you what, Royce Parham, that's 13 bench points for Marquette. And he's got the bulk of them. So really coming through big off the bench tonight for Marquette.
And we saw the great game he had against Iowa State, the number 3 team in the country. He was the leading scorer for Marquette that night with 17. It's up to 10 tonight. Oh, back into the hands of Dixon, who did keep the pivot foot. And Villanova will back it out. The shot clock reset all the way to 30. They'll have to take a look at that. And Shaka Smart has been begging for more from his bench after the bench didn't have any points against DePaul last week. Parham giving him double digits tonight, up by 8 at home. LA is in recovery mode, and you can help families impacted by the California wildfires by going to go.fox/Red Cross or scan that QR code on your screen to support those efforts. Your donation helps Red Cross respond to and help people recover from the fires, and Fox has already donated over $4 million, and your donation can help that impact and that stress be a little bit less in this trying time. We're thinking about our Fox family out there, and
yes,
I know you've got some friends, and
yes, a lot of friends
there in the area,
and very fortunate that none of them were directly affected. Obviously, everyone in that area is affected, and hearts and prayers go out to those families trying to recover.
We went to break. Looking at the shot clock, it'll be 3 to shoot for Villanova. I've asked you in a couple of different ways. How does Villanova get Eric Dixon going?
You know, I think they've done a better job here in the second half trying to get him open side, like this ball screen action, and give him the whole side. But the defense of Marquette, the swarming nature of it, you got to catch, you got to go quick. And in this situation, I would expect Longino to get this ball back after passing it inbounds.
With late clock, got to get it in first. Deflection leads to a steal. Jones with hands on it. And a 3 for Joplin the other way. No, Parham active again. And Villanova secures it with Perkins.
So Villanova doesn't get anything easy.
And Dixon got trampled by Joplin, and the foul called before the brick is dropped.
Well, you referenced it early in the game, Connor. Joplin's giving up a lot of size, trying to keep up with Eric Dixon. Oh. I got to see what Eric is majoring in, because it might be drama. I don't know about that one.
That'll end up in Nikki Glazer's next roast at the Globes.
That's 260 pounds.
There's Longino, and a foul called as he goes to the line for a couple.
Longino. You know, you like players that are recognizing things are off. We're on the road. We've got a wonderful opportunity. We're within striking distance. Longino is putting his team on his back right now. Love his aggressiveness and picked up a critical third foul on Ross.
13 points for Longino. Can't add to it. This is what Marquette does to you, right? You said Villanova's not feeling their best down in this end. Longino's battled through that individually.
Man, I tell you what, to fight through the pressure, anytime Villanova puts on the deck, I want our viewers to notice there's an additional Marquette defender coming almost every time. So to figure that out and to deal with the quickness and the tenacity of this Marquette defense is more than a notion.
Jones down the baseline. It wouldn't sit down for him.
He's got such soft touch. Every shot he puts up has a chance to drop. The good arc and the soft touch. I mean, he gets bumped pretty good. And that thing almost made its way in the bottom of the hole.
I feel like that last drive he had where he did the tightrope, probably on Brickus' mind, right?
You think?
Can't let him get to that spot again.
Right. Or just fouling hard.
Right. Almost didn't foul him hard enough. 2 at the line for Jones.
Well, Jones getting extra dap at the free throw line after that one. See David Joplin and Eric Dixon having a spirited conversation with one another.
Room to talk for Joplin with how he's defended him tonight.
Oh, I think, yeah, Joplin's done a good job, but he's had a lot of help. Ben Gold has had his chance for a few possessions, as has Chase Ross. So you got to give a guy like Dixon multiple looks.
Brickus with an open look. And the 49% three-point shooter cans it.
Good job by Brickus stepping up. Tell you what, this Villanova team, man, they're giving themselves a chance.
Jones muscles, snatches the miss. Jones back up with it. That doesn't go. Oh, man, 2 right on the doorstep for Cam Jones.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Well, Brickus is in his bag now.
He thought about it. Hit the 3 last time down. Into the post. Tough look. Dixon snatches that. He fights the double team and has to give it up. And taken away. Mitchell coasting away for 2.
Boy. Start calling him Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Stevie Mitchell with the sticky hands. That's a huge play.
Longino quiets the crowd.
Ooh, the mid-range assassin doing it again. Getting to his spot. He loves that area just off the right elbow. Nice elevation.
Approaching his season high. Best game was when Villanova put up 100 against DePaul. Owens, excuse me. Can't hit it. Joplin, the offensive rebound. Mitchell on the re-attack. Foul call. That's down to the ground. That does not count.
This is anticipation. This is also a scouting report. Stevie Mitchell knows the ball is coming back to Dixon. Goes in, gets the rip, the easy deuce, and puts Marquette up by 8.
Sticky hands, 40 Thieves. That's seared in my brain now.
Got to get it all, man. I mean, he's got klepto tendencies on the court, which is a good thing for Marquette.
He handles. Great setup. Joplin downstairs.
Great timing on the pass from Stevie Mitchell. And Joplin being his efficient self on the offensive end.
Mitchell having a big night. He grew up 50 minutes from Nova. He's from Reading, Pennsylvania. Longino sweeps in. Nothing there. Poplar still trying to get his night going. Poplar banging the bucket. Well, they're going offense on that.
Yeah, I think
offensive foul.
Yeah, on I think Cam Jones. He put his shoulder into Cam Jones along the baseline. Right there. That's a strong move. Unfortunate call for Villanova. Tough move, though, by Poplar.
It's only 11th turnover for Villanova. over their average on the year. And Gold connects on the three.
That's got to drop, doesn't it? Look at Shaka Smart. Look at Shaka. Let him know what you think, Shaka. I see you. He's going to help the refs out as much as he can.
Go ahead.
I've never seen him that animated.
Well, Pat Driscoll, Clarence Armstrong talking about it. Now they go to the monitor after the three for Gold.
So here's the contact. Did he get the shot off before the foul was called? And here's the thing, Connor. I think Wooga Poplar is getting a little bit frustrated right now with the way the game is going. Tried to run through the chest of Stevie Mitchell.
I'm with you. Shaka Smart, that's about as animated as we've seen him all year.
I mean, man, he did the and one movement about 10 times in a row.
Not a 4-point play. He wanted a 10-point play on that. We'll step out for now.
Well, we left you with a review here, and this is the last play. So there's Poplar, Wooga Poplar, going through the chest of Stevie Mitchell. So the foul occurs before Ben Gold gets into his shooting motion. And so no, the basket does not count. And Marquette will retain possession.
And so instead of an 11-point lead, wipe those points off, it's still Marquette by 8, 49-41.
Villanova got a break there, because if that shot goes down and that's a foul, I mean, this could have been a big, big swing.
And you thought frustration for Poplar.
Yeah, and you know, Wooga coming off that last game where he got ejected, he's got to be careful, because now if people see that they can get to you, they'll start to fool with you a little bit. So he's got to contain his composure and go get on the glass.
Only 2 points for Poplar, a guy they've leaned on real heavily in support of Dixon, but neither Poplar or Dixon have broken out scoring. 7 combined points against Shaka Smart's defense.
This undersized Marquette team, man, they get up under you and it just make you uncomfortable.
And Joplin hiding out. Dixon couldn't get there. Villanova gets away with it.
Tried the old ladder play where they try to cut the defender off. Dixon's so strong, is able to fight through it.
And Buachi kicked it back out. Poplar passed on that. It's Longino. Couldn't stay hot. Second chance, Buachi. Poplar on the take. Several steps. Foul call.
Buachi doing a good job of keeping that possession alive, getting on the glass. And when Villanova's had really good ball movement, they've gotten quality looks. This is one of those times. Ball is popping. Good ball fake, getting into the rim.
One of the best foul shooters in the Big East. Second in the Big East at the foul line.
And you know what that is? That's that Marquette defense. Getting into you, wearing you down, being physical, being in your face. It wears on you mentally.
Any part of that psychology also feeling like you got to get it back? Like get one back after you had a game where you got ejected?
Oh, yeah. He's pressing the issue a little bit. And, you know, this is one of the better teams in college basketball. So Marquette's always going to get their opponent's best effort.
1 of 2 for Poplar. Ross on the shot fake against the shot blocker, Buachi. And 1.
I don't know. I think there was a miscommunication defensively, because Buachi cannot stay with Ross foot speed wise, and Chase knew it. Just put it on the deck, straight line drive. We've seen that in the first half. Good recognition by Ross.
A chance to add to it, and he does. 10-point lead Marquette.
You've heard us say this a couple times this evening. Critical possession for Nova.
A game that Villanova really needs to have as we get right near the midway point of Big East. Looking for a quad 1 win, chasing 10. Marquette trying to tie St. John's in the Big East standings. Longino, another pop from 18 feet.
Yeah, they just need to get the ball to Longino, let him go to work, man, because Marquette is cutting everyone else off to this point.
Ross loses it, foul called. And that'll put Marquette into the bonus with a 1-and-1.
Marquette does a great job of putting pressure on you off the bounce. So then when you go to help, then they swing weak side and they've got a clean look from 3. Marquette just puts constant pressure on you on both ends of the floor.
Earned a second. Really interesting down in this end, isn't it? It's kind of the tortoise versus the hare thing, because Marquette's going fast on offense. Villanova wants to grind you down.
Yep.
And play at that patented slow pace.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, they've had some success as Villanova, even without Dixon being a factor offensively, but they just can't get over this 8 to 12 point deficit right now. Marquette doing everything to keep it at that level.
Brickus got him to 6 points when he hit that 3. Marquette built it back up to double digits with Ross on the end 1. Here's Dixon underneath, acrobatic, not here.
Ben Gold right at the rim, forcing the miss.
Mitchell off the bounce. Perkins with hands on it, and Villanova called for the foul. Another 1-and-1 coming up.
Well, take a look at Dixon here. The nice step through, but just can't get the finish to go, and it's been that kind of night for Villanova and Eric Dixon.
And Poplar too, 2 points. That was his 4th foul. So he's fighting foul trouble. He'll have to sit after Dixon did the same thing in the first half.
Poplar just picked up a couple fouls, I think, being just a little too aggressive. And so now you put even more weight on Longino. Jordan's got to bring you home.
Mitchell earns the back end on the second straight trip to the free throw line for Marquette. So Villanova facing one of the best defenses in the country. Poplar has foul trouble. Dixon has 5 points. Marquette's doing it again.
Yes, they are. Just continue to frustrate you. And Shaka Smart, throughout his career, has adjusted the way that his teams apply pressure. If you remember the VCU days, it was helter-skelter all over the court. But now they pick and choose their spots, and they do a lot of damage in the half court.
Brickus dumps it for Dixon.
But that might be the elixir for Villanova if Brickus can break down the D off the bounce.
And they got it back to 10. Dixon with 7 points. Coming on 9 shots for the country's leading scorer. Joplin on a spin. Nothing there.
I like the no call as well. Joplin was off balance. Didn't bail him out with a foul.
Brickus back into the paint. Longino. Second look at it for Villanova. Buachi keeps it alive. Perkins, can he break out? He finally does.
Great shot by Perkins, but better rebound by Buachi. Man, he's been a terror on the offensive glass here in the second half.
Stephen Perkins had missed 28 threes in a row before that one finally dropped. Goes back to the Seton Hall game.
Oh.
And Buachi is called for the foul.
Ooh. Well, the best time to shoot a three-pointer in the half court is off of an offensive rebound. Buachi, utilizing the pivot and the bounce, gets it back out, sets it like a brush screen, and Perkins is like, finally. Well, I tell you what, Buachi got his money's worth on that foul on Ross. He made sure he didn't get it above his shoulders.
What do you think Kyle Neptune's telling him?
I'm not sure, because he's been one of the bright spots. Probably just trying to give him some instruction on what to do defensively. Big fella, he's had some quality minutes.
Ross trying to join Jones, Mitchell, and Parham in double digits, and he does. So Marquette doing what they do on defense, forcing Dixon and Poplar into frustrating night and some balance on offense.
Yeah, this defense is one of the best in the country. And now they're three-quarter court pressure with Lowry at the top. Good job by Brickus using his speed.
And he calls for Buachi, rejects that screen, back into the paint for Brickus. Looking for help. It comes. It's Longino fouls. So he'll go to the line with a chance to have a new season high, sitting on 18 points.
And I'm going to tell you something, Connor. One of the things I really enjoy watching Villanova play is that they utilize the mid-range. They're not analytics crazy, right? It's a part of their toolbox, but it's not the whole toolbox like you've seen some college programs become.
How many times have we seen Longino do that tonight?
Oh,
15-footer,
yeah.
18-footer.
It's been all night. He's been their offense, and he's kept them close.
He's matched his best game. Came against DePaul with 19 points, and now he surpasses it. This feels like it's a much bigger Marquette lead.
Yeah, and I think Villanova is quite comfortable in this scenario.
Well, Marquette played a couple of nail-biters last week. Came back, beat DePaul in overtime. Lost by 2 against Xavier. And Villanova's played nothing but close games lately. Longino can't bring him closer. Joplin soars above the rim.
Great play by David Johnson, and he's getting it right back.
The reward is a short 3.
Heck of a defensive play by Jordan Longino.
And Lowry tees one up.
That's a big swing. Longino has a chance for a layup. I thought he jumped too soon, Connor. Could have taken one more bounce and powered up.
A 5-point swing and might have forced a Marquette timeout.
Agreed.
And hand checked. Trey Norman got him. It'll be 1-1 for Villanova after a great recovery for David Joplin.
Well, you see Longino, I don't know why he left so early. Maybe he's trying to keep the timing off, but good ball rotation here. Lowry, corner pocket, nothing but cotton.
Should have dunked it, is that what you're saying, with Longino?
No, you take one more bounce.
Take one more bounce.
So that you throw your defender off, you throw Joplin off, that he can't time the block.
Well, one of the few things that hasn't gone right for Longino tonight, who has 21 with one more coming.
I mean, his 21, he's worked for him as well. I mean, these are contested jumpers. He's having to fight to get to his spots, but he's been excellent tonight at doing so.
A 7-point game. Too good at the line for Longino. Well, Marquette's been right in that range of feeling like they might pull away. Villanova's kept it in touch, down 7.
I like Ben Gold probing like that. He doesn't need to go all the way in the post. He, keep the defense honest. I like that.
And Joplin off at the bounce. Cross court, Buachi comes flying in to knock it out. So it'll be Marquette ball with 8 to shoot, leading by 7 when we come back. Marquette trying to tie St. John's at the top of the Big East standings, and Joplin with a tremendous play on a 5-point swing. Welcome back to Milwaukee. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. With Stephen Bardo, Connor Onion, our entire crew with you on a Friday night from Fiserv Forum. 7-point Marquette lead, and the reason that it's that close is Jordan Longino has 22 points.
He's been outstanding. I mean, under pressure, getting to his mid-range, off the bounce, getting kickouts, elevating with confidence. And if not for Jordan Longino, this could be a blowout right now. But he has kept Villanova in this ball game in spite of his teammate Dixon struggling from the field.
The stat comparison sponsored by Jeep. There's only one for Longino and Brickus with Dixon and Poplar not reaching double figures like they normally do, carrying it right now for Nova.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Longino and Brickus down the stretch. You know, they're the only ones that seem to have some good feeling, enough confidence to elevate. Now, Perkins hit his last three, which, you know, he hadn't done in quite a while. So maybe you've got three guys who feel good enough to where you can run your offense through them. A short clock here for Marquette. See what kind of quick hitter Shaka draws up.
Well, Marquette backed by another big crowd. St. John's did their part to stay in first place against Xavier earlier in the week. Marquette trying to go into the weekend at 8-1 in the Big East and tie with St. John's. It's a three at the end of the clock. It goes down. Chase Ross.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Chase Ross lost track of the time when he realized it. Believe it or not, those are some of the easiest shots to take because you don't have to think about it. You just got to shoot it.
Longino again slicing in.
And I mean, that was he left Ross standing still. You don't see that very often.
Ross early in the clock. Didn't matter.
Wow.
Hit back to back.
Wow. He's telling Buachi, you got to come out. You got to come out a little bit farther, big fella. Marquette in a 1-2-2 matchup zone here. First time we've seen this evening.
And Dixon carves out some space. Short. Right back to him. Hot hand Longino. And Joplin there to cut him off. Re-attack, falls down, and a block call. 1-1 for Longino. Ross beat the clock and then did it again the next trip down.
Well, this is like he just realized it. Connor, believe it or not, those are easy shots because you got to put it up. And then watch and tell big fella, like you got to come out further. I got range.
Well, the bench was starting to do it too. Like,
yep.
Get out there, man.
You better get out there. See, he's been on a heater there, 16 tonight and playing well in his last 5 games.
Well, the thing with Ross, right, is he had that great game against Georgetown a few weeks ago. He was getting to the line. He was hitting threes like we just saw him do. Kind of made you wonder, can he be that guy all the time on offense?
Yeah, and you know it's tough when you've got a teammate as dynamic as Cam Jones, with Jones's ball usage being so high. But you know he is really excelled in his role.
Longino's best scoring night of the season rises to 26 points. Marquette by 9. Jones ran into trouble, out for Joplin.
Well, can Longino get going here? High ball screen with Dixon.
He was putting the ball in his hands a bunch. Off target on the pass. Joplin took it away. Gold runs the floor and he's fouled.
Tyler Perkins doing a good job trying to get back defensively, but that pass was too leading. You got to hit Dixon in stride, and watch this. Perkins, I'm not sure that Ben Gold would have made that. That was the degree of difficulty was 9.8.
So let him fly?
Anything above 9.5, you got to let him go.
Can you make that calculation
Yeah.
in real time?
Yeah. You got Ben Gold, 6'11", running full speed. He's going at an angle and trying to flip with his right hand. You got let the big fella try to make it, you know. But he's deadly at the line. 79% free throw shooter.
And the big from New Zealand hits them both. Lead 11 again for Marquette as we approach 6 minutes.
So Wooga Poplar back in the game against this matchup zone. Can he find the creases?
Remember, Poplar has 4 fouls. Something to watch when Villanova goes back down the other way. Perkins shot fake. Same spot as before. And the rebound taken away by Ross. Up ahead, Mitchell into the body of Perkins for 2 more.
Well, that's a strong move. And not a good shot by Perkins.
Timeout, Villanova. Biggest lead of the night for Marquette on the Mitchell layup.
Stevie Mitchell flexing his muscles. That's why you want to get old in college basketball, because you can Devo dudes at the rim. I see you, Stevie.
Happy Friday. Well, this was today, 8 years ago, January 24th, 2017. Villanova was #1 in the country. Marquette trailed by 17. Caden Reinhardt made a 3 to tie it at 70. And then he hit a couple of free throws, sealed the deal at the Bradley Center, and then everybody met at the center court logo after time went out. And Marquette beat #1 Villanova. That was right in between Villanova's championship teams. 2016, 2018, January of 17, #1 went down right here in Milwaukee.
And you see all these fans rushing the floor. One of the more underrated college basketball programs in the country, in my opinion, Marquette Golden Eagles. These fans are knowledgeable. And this is a program with a national championship. So a tremendous history here. And, you know, it gets a little nippy. And so folks want to run into a warm arena to come watch some hot basketball.
There you go. It's our igloo.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's right.
But the way that this matchup has changed since those times, playing into this, when Shaka Smart gets hired, they have not lost to Villanova. That includes Jay Wright's final year when they went to the Final Four.
Yeah, so that's quite a run that Shaka Smart and Marquette have over Villanova right now. But I tell you what, Jordan Longino is doing his best to try to end that streak. See if they can get him back going here.
And Marquette has won 7 in a row against Villanova. And Villanova, we told you, they led by 17 in that flashback game, trying to come back from 13 tonight. And Eric Dixon with what they hope is a start.
Good recognition that time. Longino drew 2 defenders, so someone was open. It was Dixon.
And steps called.
Stevie Mitchell wanted the foul. Going full speed, lost his footing. And it's like he may have hit his funny bone there. There ain't nothing funny about that when it happened.
No. Humorous is a misnomer.
I agree.
Well, Dixon just got to 10 points with that last 3. And Brickus down the baseline, throws it into the backcourt. And Poplar lets it slide out of bounds.
Well, Jameer Brickus trying to make things happen, but too deep on the drive.
Dixon and Jones, the stars, either way. Both up to 10 now, but Villanova has done it in a frustrating way. 13 turnovers, not like them the last couple of games. 16 the other night.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, again, Marquette just is so tenacious, and you don't catch a break. They're just always in your face.
Jones hops in, gets the bounce.
Man, that jump stop playing off 2 feet. And Villanova does that well.
And the basket won't count. It's on the ground, but foul shot's coming. And it'll be the final 1-1 on the foul on Jones.
Both of these programs utilize that jump stop and footwork beautifully. Villanova's been doing it forever.
Yep.
And Marquette under Shaka Smart has really embraced that aspect of the game as well.
And most of the offense through Longino tonight. Up to 27.
Well, we see some full court pressure here from Villanova. You know, they have to be careful because they don't play a lot of guys, but now you're inside of 5 minutes left. You may want to take some chances here.
And we got to make it to set it up.
True.
And remember, Poplar has 4 fouls, so that's probably in the calculation of do you press or do you not for Kyle Neptune.
Yeah, but you can hide him in that pressure.
There's Mitchell baseline.
Boy. Tyler Perkins is going to be seeing Stevie Mitchell in his sleep tonight. That young man is trying, but man, Stevie Mitchell putting on the Jets, get to the rim once again.
You might see 17 points in that nightmare. 7 of 10 shooting. Outside hit, no. Gold there for the rebound. Mitchell has 10 points in the second half alone, and Longino gets him on the arm with Dixon behind. So the lead back to the biggest it's been tonight. Under 4 timeout in Milwaukee. Marquette trying to tie St. John's in first place.
It's a late night tilt in Iowa City coming up next. Ace Baldwin and Penn State are looking for just their second road win of the season. Peyton Sanford and the Iowa Hawkeyes will try and snap a 3-game skid. That's next, right after Villanova, Marquette.
Now Marquette, 3:53 away from 8-1 in the Big East. Trying to stay tied for first place. We've seen the 2 stars in this game. Eric Dixon, Cam Jones have different nights. It's been more of a struggle for Dixon to get to 10 points for the 36th game in a row.
Yeah, you see the numbers there. Just a difficult night for him due to Marquette's pressure, changing defenses, changing looks. Cam Jones has been efficient, hasn't needed to force the issue. He's had really good scoring support tonight. And so both guys under their typical numbers, and Dixon way under.
And P.J. Haggerty at Memphis, the only guy that has a longer streak than Dixon and Jones. It's funny that it mirrors one another.
Yeah, it is.
After 36 games.
And I mean, you know, you're talking about 2 of the best scorers in all of college basketball. They do it different ways, but it's been fun to watch, even with Dixon struggling.
Double figures in the second half alone for Stevie Mitchell. Told you earlier, there's a little bit of a personal narrative for Mitchell in this game. He grew up in the city of Reading, Pennsylvania, about 50 minutes from Nova. The final 2 Big East teams that he was deciding between, Marquette, Villanova.
Yeah.
Jay Wright offered him.
You know, and for an area kid like that to come to Marquette as opposed to going to Villanova, that says something about the job Marquette did in recruiting.
He'll become a staple here. Beloved is the word that always comes up with Mitchell with this fan base. And Poplar with the left hand, not there. Gold wrestled for it, and Perkins called for the foul.
Boy, Poplar, it's just been that type of night. Beautiful move, finished with the left, hit every piece of the rim and just didn't drop. But you know, you look at Stevie Mitchell and players like him around college basketball, and they have a sense of urgency because they have senioritis. He understands his college career may be limited to the rest of the regular season and postseason. So you get to this age and you understand how special these opportunities are.
What do you think the postseason ceiling is for Marquette?
Ooh, I mean, you know, they get the right draw. I mean, I could definitely see him the second weekend. Definitely see him doing what they did last year in terms of the Sweet 16 appearance.
Seems like you're on the fence. Maybe the third weekend too.
Oh, I mean, if the matchup is right, they could definitely get to the Final Four. They have to have favorable matchups, but I mean, from a defensive standpoint alone, they could play with anybody in the country.
And top 25 offense, top 25 defense, and Dixon scoops one in.
And, you know, you got a player like Cam Jones as well, a guy that can close and, you know, bring him home. It's one of the ingredients for a national championship contender.
That's what they're trying to do right here with under 3 minutes to go, up 13. And Jones, Mitchell recovers the miss. It pinballs around, and Dixon had to squat down to get it. Poplar ahead and rises up for a jam.
Ooh, took a little frustration out on the rim. Wooga getting busy.
So the deficit 11 for Villanova. Marquette in no hurry here.
Expect some ball screen action. Trying to get Cam Jones downhill.
Poplar asking for help from Perkins. Jones left his feet. Long pass into the hands of Ross, who is fouled. Took 26 seconds of the clock and ended up with foul shots. Poplar with a little catharsis on this one.
Oh, yeah. No, he skying high there. I think Joplin thought he could maybe challenge, but he's going to get put on a poster here. Luka Poplar showing you what he's capable of doing.
Next one coming up tomorrow on Fox. It's a UConn basketball doubleheader. First at 5:30 Eastern. Paige Beckers, who has 2,000 points in her career now, leads 6th-ranked UConn against Creighton. And then the UConn men, led by Alex Caravan, 19th in the country. They're against Xavier tomorrow night on Fox. It'll be a great show at the Cintas Center. Xavier playing with some real desperation right now.
Yes.
Just came here and won. They're a little bit like Villanova, fighting for their NCAA tournament respect, and both are on the bubble right now.
I agree. McSwain had a big game for Xavier when they came in here and got the upset. You know, you're seeing it all over college basketball now, though. Mid-January, late January, teams start to figure things out.
And Dixon plus the foul. Chance to cut it to 10 inside 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Eric Dixon's got a look of disgust on his face. Just never got on track tonight. Good pickup here between two defenders. A nice finish. But he'll have better nights where he can get his offense going earlier. But you tip your cap to the Golden Eagles defense. Been stingy all night.
Well, Villanova would like to turn around this week's game into tonight. Remember, they were up 9 points with inside 5 minutes to go and didn't score the rest of the way.
No.
Down 10 with inside 2 to go against one of the country's best defenses. Big ask. They put on some full court pressure. And a foul, timeout call. And a timeout called by Marquette as they had it down in the corner. So 1 left for the Golden Eagles. This is what's coming for Villanova. They've got Creighton and at DePaul, and just told you about Xavier. Now they're really starting to get it together the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and so Villanova's getting ready to get their first bye week. So they've got a little bit of time after tonight before they have to face Creighton. And then they have another bye. They don't play that last Saturday before the Big East tournament. So Villanova trying to take advantage of the schedule and get themselves in tournament.
And for Marquette, you know, they're playing for another league title. 2023, they won the regular season, won the tournament. Butler will be their last game of the first half of the schedule, and to start the second half, 2 contenders. UConn sitting on 2 losses, game back. St. John's is the team that they're trying to tie at the top of the standings tonight.
Yeah, and everybody's got to go through a gauntlet in this league. You know, each team, there's a 3 or 4 game stretch that is just brutal. And that makes up, you know, why this is such one of the nation's best conferences, because it's just, you really just don't have any nights off.
And R.J. Lewis and St. John's off to a terrific start, 8-1 in the league. Here's the 3 for Joplin, short. Dixon the rebound. So Villanova usually works at a slow pace, but it's got to happen fast. Down 10, 1:30 to go.
And I think they need to shoot some threes, quick threes.
Well, they're good at that. Best 3-point shooting team of the Big East, and that'll help. Poplar to the line with the clock stopped.
Well, if you can convert these 2 and get your defense set up, put a little bit of pressure on Marquette.
And Poplar perfect on the first. And Villanova puts Jordan Dumont in the game, guy that doesn't play a lot. And they won't be able to set up pressure unless that is out. And it is going to Marquette.
Oh, I thought that was. Yeah, Pat Driscoll made the motion to review. I think that's going to be Villanova basketball. Let's take a look at this replay, Connor. What do you think?
Well, let's see. Yeah, I think Joplin got it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But maybe Dixon hit it last. Let's take another look. It's kind of hard to see from that angle, but that's why these guys get paid to do what they're doing. So Joplin right there, and it doesn't look like Dixon.
Is it touched again?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be Villanova basketball.
And the call was Marquette ball.
Well, I don't know. When the ball changes, when the spin changes, that indicates someone hit the basketball. So
Jones is right there too.
yes, that's why I don't try to officiate. I just stay in my lane over here and try to be patient for the outcome. But man, I mean, one of three players.
Well, those guys do it for you, Pat Driscoll and Clarence Armstrong, so you don't have to.
And they're taking their time. I mean, it's not an easy call. But again, I can't say enough about this defense of Marquette. We knew that they come in, they're the top team in the Big East and forcing turnovers. So when you look at Villanova right now, looking at almost 15 turnovers. And so forcing turnovers, getting points off of those turnovers, and frustrating the nation's leading scorer. I mean, Shaka Smart and his staff have to be pleased with their effort here tonight.
Yeah, Marquette just doesn't lose the turnover. They've only lost the turnover margin twice all year.
Yeah.
So good at protecting it and forcing you into some. And +7 tonight. Waiting on this call. And it'll stay with Marquette, looks like.
And I mean, that thing could have gone either way.
Well, announced as confirmed, so they had a look that confirmed that it was off of Villanova. And +7 in turnovers for Marquette, and that's turned into 16 points.
And that's what they do. And continuing to do their thing on the defensive end. I love this formation.
And Marquette will get called back. And Clarence Armstrong, Pat Driscoll are telling Joplin where to stand. Is that right?
Yeah. Or was it Cam Jones? Maybe. Probably Joplin.
Well, after that, they get it in. Villanova traps, and there's the foul. Perkins reaches in.
And Tyler had him in Coffin's corner there. Just got a little too aggressive. You just you hold the trap and make him make a play. Don't bail him out with the foul.
That's 4 on Perkins. And Poplar's been able to hang in there down the stretch. He picked up his 4th in the middle of the second half.
Done a good job of navigating that.
How about that bounce?
Good things come to good people. Stevie Mitchell was here earlier in the season when they had Mom's Night. His mother came on the court and banged a jumper. I'm like, man, so Stevie got it from his mama. He's stunting like his mama.
You tell me Lil Wayne and Birdman might have to rewrite that song?
Exactly. Stevie Mitchell also academically one of the best student athletes in this conference.
An academic All-American. Chance to win Defensive Player of the Year this year, too. Oh, that's a rainbow 3. And timeout for Villanova. And Dixon cuts it to 8 with 1:07 left. And stunting like his mama, Stevie Mitchell, with a big night. 20 points on 7 of 10 shooting.
Oh, and he scored the basketball efficiently. He's also been great in his calling card, and that's the defensive end. Getting a deflection, walking into a 3, getting to the 5th gear to get downhill. He did that consistently. And this is just big boy basketball. At the rim with power and strength. Stevie Mitchell has had an outstanding evening.
And that Dixon three has Villanova still thinking about a comeback. Marquette has gotten into as big as 15. On a night where, if it's possible to say this, Dixon has had a quiet 18 points.
Yeah, it's definitely accurate to say. He's never really been in the flow of the game.
No.
And, you know, he's gotten the majority of those points in the second half here in the last few possessions. Now, for Villanova, just don't foul. Get the double team like you had before. Stay strong in the double team, but don't foul. Force Marquette to make them play.
And the arrow is with Nova if there is a tie-up, but the press broken, and Gold thinks better of that. Dumont gives the foul. So with 1 minute even left, Gold to the free throw line for the double bonus.
And one of the things that makes it so difficult to pressure Marquette is that Mitchell, Ross, Joplin, Jones can all handle the ball very confidently. And Gold even in short spurts. And so you've got 5 really good ball handlers on the floor.
He got his first. Ben Gold got a visit from his family over the holidays from New Zealand. He credited that reset, kind of putting basketball second, with why he shot the ball so much better lately.
You know what? There's nothing like the love of family. And, you know, you get that jolt and that confidence. You could bleed over to the floor.
It's funny because part of that trip, they were in Vegas together. He said Vegas was part of what got him right. It was a 3 for Brickus, rebound Lowry. And hard contact on the sideline. Dixon called for the block.
Stevie Mitchell goes hard, boy. Tell you what.
No mercy.
I mean, coming full speed, trying to get past Dixon. That's a tough collision. We classify that's a Big East collision right there.
It's, you hear Marquette talk about violence a lot in their shoot-around, which is mostly a football term, but that's kind of what Shaka Smart has ingrained into his team is like a football team. That's how we want to do, obviously within the rules.
Oh yeah. You want to play violently. You want to be, as my dad used to say, who's my first basketball coach, you want to be fast but not in a hurry. And as a kid, it's like, what is he talking about? But now, you know, you get to this level at college, you understand.
It's on a long list of wise things that your dad has said in his life. Great man.
Appreciate that, Connor.
Well, Marquette will march down. Joplin is fouled. And the crowd starting to sense what the Marquette bench is sensing. Chance to put this one away. 35.8 to go.
Well, it's a long grind, these conference seasons. And if you want to contend for a conference title, the formula is to try to get half on the road, but hold serve at home. So it looks like Marquette's going to be able to hold serve here and then keep marching and trying to outpace St. John's to lead the Big East.
Well, that was the thing the other day. You know, Xavier came in here and won. That does not happen a lot. Shaka Smart has won about 90% of his home games as the Marquette coach.
Yeah, and so now you got to go get one back if you're Marquette. Somewhere along the line, you got to pick up a critical road win to give yourselves an opportunity.
And we got those couple games coming up we told you about with UConn and St. John's to come. A half minute to go. Dixon way heavy on that. Longino kicks it back out for a Brickus 3. That's short. Poplar follows it up. And Villanova staying in press with shot clock turned off, and timeout is taken by Marquette.
Little too late for Villanova to try to close this lead, but they can take some good things from this, as can Marquette, in terms of maintaining. They maintained that 8 to 12 point spread for the majority of the second half, Connor, and that's not easy to do. And so Marquette, you tip your hat to them in terms of being able to hold off this somewhat desperate Villanova team. And yet again, an outstanding job of the nation's leading scorer. Eric Dixon didn't get anything clean this evening.
Marquette 20 seconds away from their 8th consecutive win against Villanova. Shaka Smart has had his imprint all over this matchup. Took the job, hasn't lost, 7-0 against Villanova. That included the 2022 season where Villanova went to the Final Four. And it looks like it'll go to 8 tonight.
Well, again, there are teams within these power conferences that just have your number. And Marquette definitely has Villanova.
Home run ball for Jones, who lays it up.
Well, that was a heck of a pass. A great lead pass.
In the final 10 seconds, Longino can't hit it. Rebound for Joplin, and that'll do it. 8 wins in a row for Marquette over Villanova, and they tie St. John's at 8-1 at the top of the Big East standings into the weekend.
Outstanding defensive effort by Marquette, holding serve at home, keeping pace with St. John's. Boy, this stretch run in the Big East is going to be like it is every year.
Yep.
Competitive. We're going to see some upsets along the way. But I believe this Marquette Golden Eagles going to be in the thick of things when all things are said and done.
Well, 4 front runners have emerged. St. John's and Marquette, both with one loss. Creighton and UConn, both with 2 losses. With 11 games to go in the Big East, this is going to be a thrill ride to the finish to get to the Big East tournament. Well, that'll do it. Stephen Bardo, Connor Onion, we thank you for watching. Doubleheader continues on FS1 right after this.